What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, and of course, the All-Star game is this weekend, the Sunday. The All-Star weekend is coming upon us, and Charlotte, of course, will be hosting the All-Star festivities. And of course, the NBA team in Charlotte is the Charlotte Hornets, and they're owned by a fellow by the name of Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and I think we all are kind of familiar with him. And he was asked today about some historic performances that are being achieved by two prominent players, James Harden of the Houston Rockets and Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And of course, James Harden has a consecutive game streak of scoring 30 points or more. I don't even know what the streak is right now. It's 20-something. I think it's getting close to 30 games, if I'm not mistaken. I have my issues with his streak because the talking points for Russell Westbrook, for his detractors, have always been that he's trying to get triple-doubles. However, the criticisms for James Harden in the mainstream media are nearly absent, despite the fact that he is obviously trying to get 30 points each game. I've seen him stay in some games that were blowouts just to pad his scoring numbers. I have stated that I believe that he's trying to reach Michael Jordan's 1986-87 scoring mark of 37.1 points per game. I'm not sure if he's going to get there. He's trying. I think he's like at 36.5 points per game right now. It's possible, but I have to think that with the eventual return of Clint Capella, he can't keep taking 25 to 35 shots a game. At times, hero ball works when a guy is hot, but if you're constantly taking other people out of the offense like that, it's eventually it's going to hurt the team. But anyway, he was asked about what James Harden is doing. Russell Westbrook, of course, Russell Westbrook last night broke Wilt Chamberlain's record for consecutive triple-doubles. Russell got his 10th consecutive triple-double. It was I believe, the 23rd triple-double of the season for Russell Westbrook. And for those who say, well, Michael, why don't you criticize Russell for that? I don't think that he's consciously trying to always get triple-doubles. I think that he just has the knack now for achieving it. The way that the pace is now in games, the way that their offense is set up, I think that it's just easy for him to get it now, especially now that he doesn't have to concentrate on scoring like he used to. It's so much easier now. But Michael Jordan was asked about these accomplishments, and this is what he had to say. He said, let me go through this. He said, it shows progression in the league. I'm very proud of how both these guys have done because they are making a mark for the league, and I think it really helps grow the league. But then he was asked which was harder, James Harden's consecutive 30-point streak or Russell Westbrook's NBA record triple-double streak. And then Jordan said with a smile, 6 championships by all means. And, of course, that's kind of him saying, in my opinion, that while individual marks are nice and impressive, the ultimate goal for every player, for every team, is to win championships. And I think that that's anybody's ultimate goal in team sports. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of gets lost in translation with the modern sports media and our culture at large. Our culture at large now praises individual achievement, individual dominance, um, individual brilliance, I guess. I don't know. But in team sports, I think that the ultimate goal should always be what's best for the team and ultimately team oriented success. Whatever helps the team should help the team. Now, I'm very aware of the fact that in the modern NBA, players now have incentives to try to get individual marks and things, in their contracts. Excuse me for a second. In their contracts, they might get a $500,000 bonus if they average 25 points or more, or you know, they might get this or that if they get named for an all NBA team or all defensive team. I'm aware of that. So some of this is to blame. The money, to me, is to blame for some of this shit as well. You know what I'm saying? The owners have some culpability as well in this situation that we are in. But this is the thing, man, and this is what I think people don't understand. Yeah, Michael Jordan made his mark with, at first, the unbelievable athleticism that he showed, the scoring games, the dunk contests, individual brilliant play. But what people don't understand is that there was a reason why Michael Jordan strived to be in the same breadth and echelon as a Larry Bird, as a Magic Johnson. It was because his team wasn't fucking winning. You understand what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was, at one point in time, as hard as this is to believe, as hard as this is to believe to a lot of you millennials, he was looked upon as something of a loser. Yeah, he can, you know, uh, put up great numbers. He can be individually brilliant. A lot of people say he didn't make his teammates better, and he wasn't a winner like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And it wasn't until, really, to me, the first three-peat that Michael Jordan reached that icon status. Before that, he was very popular. You know what I mean? He was one of the most popular players in the NBA. But it wasn't until really 92, 93, after the repeat and the three-peat, that he reached icon status. And then when he came out of retirement, a little bit slower, not as athletic, skills slightly eroded in some ways, although he had the post game to always rely on in the fadeaway, and he still had enough athleticism to still be a dominant player in the NBA, but he did need more help. By that time, it's a friend of mine that has he had a very funny comparison. He said that the first incarnation of Michael Jordan before the first retirement was like Hulk Hogan in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking like a phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Like he just beat the shit out of everybody, right? Then he said when Jordan came out of retirement in '95, he was like Hollywood Hogan. He needed help. You know what I'm saying? Still great, but he needed Kevin Nash, Pippen, and Scott Hall, Robert to help him to win championships and shit. And, there's a little truth to that. But for him to come out of retirement and then ultimately in his first full season back win a championship, that was a major accomplishment. But then for him to win another one and then have a second three-peat, it put him on another level that I can't really even describe. Like he became like the Babe Ruth of basketball. And that's why a lot of us are sort of harsh on the younger guys, because while they do have individually brilliant performances in the regular season, the playoffs is an entirely different beast. And if you can't get it done in the playoffs, then you don't belong in the conversation. You can be a great player, but if you can't get it done in the postseason, you just don't belong on that same. Even Charles Barkley. I think Charles Barkley is one of the most skilled power forwards I've ever witnessed. But Charles Barkley will tell you he doesn't put himself on the same level as Tim Duncan. Okay, even though you could make the argument maybe even though Tim Duncan was so fundamentally sound in his prime, Charles Barkley possibly was a little bit more well-rounded, as far as everything he could do. But then again, you can make the argument that Tim Duncan kind of held some of his part of his game back for the team. You know what I mean? But because Charles Barkley was never able to get it done in the postseason, that holds him back. Same as Karl Malone. It kind of keeps him out of the top 10 discussion. Championships do matter to an extent, especially in team sports. And that's why I don't have a problem with what he said. There's some people in the media that are twisting what he was saying he was trying to throw shade at them, and he wasn't doing that. He was very effusive in his praise toward what James Harden and Russell Westbrook are doing this year. And for people in the mainstream media, we know what they do. They seize an opportunity like sharks. They seized on the opportunity for a high-profile personality like Michael Jordan to say something that they can kind of, anything that they can kind of nitpick and take out of context just to have a topic, a trending topic that will get people talking and get people, interested in some type of news story. They always want something to talk about. But tell me what you guys think, man.